hard difficulty build strat for story mode as well as for the Colosseum and VR missions, including the final quad question mark battle at the end of the VR mission in chapter 17 once you've beat the story mode for the first time. Be warned, this video will contain in-game rewards, thus spoilers, so if you prefer to find out on your own, discontinue watching now. Alrighty, onward to the builds. First will be character natural strengths and build leans, or where they lean towards naturally. For the VR and Colosseum matches, I'd recommend the following team composition: Cloud, Aerith, and Barrett, in that order. And I'll go into details as to why, but for starters. So both Cloud and Tifa, they're your physical damage dealers. They'll both be your party leader. Both of them excel at physical attack and magic attack, while Cloud has slightly higher ceiling for both of those. Another way to put it is that you really don't need to have Cloud and Tifa in your party at the same time. You can get away with it if you have Tifa or Cloud, whoever's not going to be your main controlled character, as your tank, but honestly, I would just leave that for Barrett, as he has a natural higher defense and vitality ranking. Going with Aerith, she's your insane high mage and high level magic dealer. Utilizing the 2 magic ups materia that you can get and 2 MP ups, she will have an enormous amount of magic offensive capabilities and just a pool of MP to use, which is super important on hard, since it's a lot harder to recover MP. For Barrett, it'd be your tank, just because he's got the natural higher defense and highest HP, along with having another ranged weapon. Allows him to play keep away with the enemy. Again, can still cure and revive the team as necessary, but having 2 long-range characters along with 1 who's your physical damage dealer, aka Tifa or Cloud, really makes the battle a hell of a lot easier to manage and play safer and more keep away, while the 2 ranged characters can still deal heavy damage and keep pressure on the enemy. Because some of these later boss battles and stuff that you've played through, like a Type 0 Behemoth for example, they have a lot of attacks that will disrupt your physical attacks, aka can flip you over, they can knock you down, push you back, flip you up in the air, whatever it is. So having 2 characters that are more ranged, that don't have to be up in your face to do any kind of work or damage, really helpful. Truly is super helpful, so I definitely recommend that. So going forward onto the weapon, armor, and material loadout recommendation, note, every single weapon that you'll see here is level 6. So if you haven't gotten to level 6 yet, play through a couple chapters or so, or a couple of VR missions on hard difficulty to get to the 260 barrier of the SP for the weapons, shown here. As you can see, mine's like level 336 for Cloud, for example. You just need to get to 260 to break into weapon level 6, so you have the final core available to upgrade. So I'd recommend doing that first before really diving into hard. So there's guides out there, you can find the easiest manuscripts just to bump it over. You just need 1 if you're at level 50 to get to 260. Just need to find 1 for each character to bump it over to level 60. So it's really easy, honestly, to find an easy manuscript, whether it's a party or an easier boss or something, just to beat, to knock it over that threshold. So for Cloud, we'll go back to Cloud, for weapons, materia, and armor, and accessories, we'll go ahead and use the hard edge here. I know it shows the Guttermering here, but we're going to take that off because that's not what the initial thing I want you to use is. So for his accessory, championship belt, increased strength and HP. Good thing to have, especially if you haven't beat the final missions yet. Do that. Use championship belt. Use the chain bangle. It's the most balanced armor. However, if you're going to play with my character build, and you're gonna have Aerith in here, I would just use the Supreme Bracer, just because it preferences physical defense, and since he's gonna be up close hitting stuff, he probably needs that more so than magic. So if Aerith is in your party, flip flop these two armors, put the Chain Bangle on Aerith and the Supreme Bracer on Cloud. But in this case, at this point in the game where I'm at right now, Aerith's not a party, hence why the Chain Bangle's on Cloud. Then for the weapon, I use either the Hard Edge or the Buster Sword. Seeing how they are both, and note this is sorted by attack power, because again, that's what I wanted him to be focused on. They're both the two high tiers of outright physical attack, while the Hard Edge is definitely the most output. The Buster Sword is the most balance. It has, as you can see here, added physical and magic defense, well with just being more balanced. The only reason why you can, if you want to be a little more rushed in it or more risky, just use the Hard Edge. But if you want to be a little more safer, definitely just use the Buster Sword, because once you unlock everything and you get to a certain level of threshold for the weapons, it's definitely the best balanced weapon. And funny enough, for Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, and Barrett, all their starting weapons or default weapons are the most balanced. To me, the best weapons for them in the game. Just because they give you added, they're the most balanced offensive and defensively. They give you defensive boost, magic and physical, and their attack, magic, and physical is usually the most balanced or equal in Cloud's case here. So for his armor, as I mentioned just a moment ago, use Chain Bangle if Aerith's on your party. If she is in your party, swap the Chain Bangle to her and use the Supreme Bracelet for him. And we did that. Note for, again, for my recommendation for the Colosseum and for the VR missions, use Cloud, Aerith, and Barrett. If you do want to use Tifa, I would recommend swapping Tifa for Cloud. Sideline Cloud, mirror the same type of setup with the armor and accessory to Tifa. And for the weapon, either use the leather gloves, which is her starting default, which again is the most balanced once leveled up, or her highest physical attack output, which is the metal knuckles. For materia, you're going to have a revive, a healing, a time, refocus in this case is for something else, so don't use refocus unless you absolutely want to, but it's also not a bad choice, especially since he's got time. Use that, but I wouldn't recommend that, to be honest. Steadfast block, which is down here. There you are. Steadfast block, first strike, gives you a large ATB boost at the beginning of the match right away. Let's see here. MP up, HP up, and that's just leveling up this MP up from here right now. So normally, let's put it this way, you'll have revive, healing, time, steadfast block, first strike, 2 HP ups, an MP up, and then an enemy skill if you already have learned Bad Breath. If you haven't learned the enemy skill Bad Breath from Marlboro, which is a Shinra VR mission, the legendary monsters in chapter 17, don't use that. Just use another offensive magic like fire or thunder, since the majority of enemies, especially in the VR stuff, is either weak to fire or thunder. Recommendation for him, hence why he's got time, and the first strike ATB immediately type thing. As soon as a match starts, cast haste on Cloud immediately, and then haste on Aerith, and then Barrett. For his summon materia, if you've already beaten it, use Bahamut for Cloud. If you haven't received Bahamut yet, you haven't gotten that from Chadley's little mobile VR stuff. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and use Idra for him, since it boosts more physical stuff for him. On to for Aerith. Go here to Miss Aerith. For Aerith, oops, that's Tifa. Hit the wrong button. There we go. So for Aerith, Weapons-wise, we'll have the reinforced staff. It's the most balanced with additional magic defense. Important for her since she's keep away and more likely to get hit by range / magic attacks. Armor, she would have the chain bangle normally if she was in the party. If she's not in the party, you can put whatever armor you want on there. I just usually just swap out with whatever Cloud's going to wear, which is the Supreme Bracer. Healing, for the accessory is the Healing Crit, which is down here. Boop, pop that on her. For her materia, again, it's not shown right here because it's on the other members and she's not actually in the party currently in this chapter I'm in. She will have a healing, a revive. She will have, with that healing, a magnify, or the magnify, steadfast block, which again isn't in here because she's not in the party, 2 MP ups, 2 magic ups, and then some sort of offensive magic. You can use a fire, you can use thunder, a wind is not a bad idea. Typically speaking, not too many things are weak against ice that are later game that are really, really strong, so I wouldn't really need ice or wind, to be honest. Usually most things that are stronger late in game are like thunder or fire weak, so I'd use those too, but by all means. And those damage on contact as well. Both ice and wind have a delay explosion or whatever once they reach their target destination, so a little safer to use other ones as well. For Aerith's summon, give her Leviathan since this actually boosts all her magic stats. Yeah, I never really call Leviathan on, like ever, because whatever reason his attacks in game aren't very good or they miss a lot. Like they're not really super helpful to me, to be honest. I usually just don't use it. But again, you really just want to have it equipped for the stats boost, for the attributes boost, not really to actually use it in battle. The main objective for Aerith is being far away and dealing magic. So using her ATB to heal and keep regen up, you can help keep enemy aggro off of her by utilizing the L2 and R2 triggers, and just ordering her ATB commands that way. If you want to switch to her when either Cloud's getting jacked up or is held or anything like that, bound, however the enemy wants to mess up with Cloud is fine. If you want to switch to her, fire off a couple square attacks just to build her meter back up or something, or if you want to use her ability War to cast 2 offensive magic capabilities, that's fine too. Just keep in mind the important thing with Aerith is that if you're going to use her to build her ATB real quick, you cycle off of her very quickly so the enemy is not going to aggro to that character. Whoever you're maining or playing or controlling, more likely, almost 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, the enemy aggroes to whoever you're controlling. So the whole point of Aerith is to not be aggroed so that she doesn't get jacked up, because she will have the least HP in your party. So having the step out block will help, but again, she's not meant to take damage, period. Moving on to Barrett. For a weapon, we will have the Gatling gun. It's the most balanced with additional physical and magic defense again. Armor, cog bangle. It's a balanced offensive, keep saying offensive, balanced defense and magic defense. I will also have in 3 slots and has 2 link slots up front. Accessory, the Crescent Moon Charm. This accessory is really, really helpful for Barrett since she's going to be your tank, because that accessory, the player or that character receives less damage when not controlled, and since he's not going to be controlled too much, it's perfect for the tank. For his materia, you're going to have your healing. Again, you won't have magnify on him, it just happens to be in this current chapter I'm on. But for materia for him, you're going to have reviving, healing, steadfast block, which I think he has on this build. Yeah, steadfast block, 2 HP ups right there. A provoke, which isn't on here, I don't believe, because I was doing something else with this one. An NP up, and then the last 2 slots you can either have a time or an offensive magic like fire or thunder. or another HP up if you don't have them leveled up like I do. And for his summon, again, use Aerith just to increase physical attributes, physical attack, stuff like that. Along with Aerith being long range, Barrett is also long range. It's another reason to use Gatling gun rather than, say, one of his physical attack things. It just puts him in more harm's way. It's not helpful for a tank, to be honest. It just don't need to do that. Utilizing Provoke can definitely save your party members as well. Just a general good rule of thumb: if a character, any character, falls below or around 60 health, remember to heal said characters, either using Barrett or Aerith. Again, especially Aerith, since she's going to have that healing accessory on her. Using just her base cure is going to really do a lot of healing. So you don't need to use Cura or like higher level tiers of your healing to really heal them up. It just saves your MP, which MP is super valuable and hard. So just utilize that and they'll be good to go. Some major key takeaways for your builds and strategy overall. Every character in your active party must have a revive and a healing materia. The revive doesn't have to be mastered, definitely helps, but you don't need to do that. The mastered version of revive, it just gives you a rise, which like fully revives said character to use it on. It also uses more MP and takes a little bit longer to cast, but again, sometimes you have that luxury that you can do that. A lot of like Tonberry fights, you can use a rise because the thing moves so slow. Unless you're like right up next to it, then you probably get stabbed and you'll lose anyway. But yeah, always try to have a tank in your party, whether it's Tifa or Barrett. Always have one character be your tank. Just the same kind of map loadout and build loadout as Barrett mentioned previously. So everyone should have a steadfast block anyway, but the tank needs to have provoke. They need to have quad 9 HP, if not really high HP, and they are not your main controlled character. That way they can actually take the aggro away from Cloud if Cloud gets really jacked up and put into danger. Well, I say danger, playing too much Resident Evil. Anyway, for leveling your weapons, we'll go back to this real quick. So for leveling your weapons, go for max slots first. But once you get 6 total slots, there is no need to buy any more materia linkage things. Case in point, we'll look at Cloud here. So on here, for example, on the hard edge, you don't get new materia slots until the 4th, or so now technically the 3rd, since the second one doesn't exist, subcore of it, right? So you want to buy those 2, and then this one, I technically didn't need to buy one of those, because one of them gives you that second linkage, where in this game, since there's only really 3 things that you can connect, like literally to, truly that are super beneficial, the 2 elementals, and then the magnify, you really don't need to have one character or all the characters to have their weapon have 3 connected linkage for their materia. You just don't need it. It's just not really needed at all, because you can't get multiple magnify / all materias. You can't get several elementals. The elementals, the 2 you do get, are better split between party members rather than just stacked on one person. So at least in my opinion, they are. So what I would do is unlock your 6 slots. Again, this one's a little different just because there's only so much slots you can do. So like technically, I should probably reslot this weapon, remove one of those military slots purchased, and then stick / purchase that crippling damage boost, and then just wait to get the last materia, the 2 materia slots here, just to quote finish out the weapon. Because there's no real need for them. I'll never use it. There's just not a point to it. But once you have your 6 slots, your total 6 slots, and the first 2 slots are linked, because you do want one linkage on armor and weapons, so we need one linkage at least. Once you have those purchased, then purchase outright physical attack and magic attack for Cloud and Aerith, and then prioritize getting speed and defense for Tifa and Barrett. Once those have been purchased, snag like weapon abilities like Siphon or Bloodsucker, Stagger Siphon or Bloodsucker. If you use a weapon that has reprieve, like Aerith's reinforced weapon, snag that as well next to 2, because that'll help you, especially with Aerith, since you'll have low HP to begin with. So that's helpful for her, and you're using that weapon. But once you've purchased all that stuff, you can just buy like HP plus, buff duration, kind of whatever you want from there. It's not really too important at that point. Buster Sword's probably a better example of what I'm referring to as. So buy for Clouds, for example, for the Buster Sword, it's the most balanced of Cloud's weapons. I would buy all the attack and magic attack power throughout period first, after buying materia slots, of course. Same thing with this one. It has an extra slot that technically I didn't need to buy until after the fact, but again, it's irrelevant at this point because I already have all the other perks besides HP ups. So once you have all like special abilities or attributes, go back and get extra defense, and then what's physical and magic, get those defense boosts, and then go back and buy increased HP. That's generally a good rule of thumb for all weapons. All the characters have a similar type of weapons, so they all have something that outright does the most physical damage for them, the most magic damage for them, something that has kind of like a gimmick slash crit, high crit kind of abilities. Something that's just balanced but just inherently weaker, but gives you slots early on or something. Of course, you want to learn all the abilities for each weapon. As you can see there on the right side, you still want to learn every single weapon's ability by any means, but once you learn everything and you flesh them all out, yeah, that's the weapons I would recommend for that. But just a go rule of thumb. Following this, I'll have a clip of my final quad question mark battle in the Chapter 17 VR building mission, along with some clips of utilizing the ultimate prize accessory for beating the quad question mark battle. Right here, I'll show it to you real quick. Probably saw at the beginning of the video if you were looking. Gutter Dimmering, which this accessory essentially breaks the game. It makes it super easy and really, really fun, to be honest. You enter the battle with a full limit break gauge, and the limit break gauge gradually fills during said battle, which just makes it super easier, much easier, and really funny and fun at times too, because you can just immediately do your ascension limit break and just destroy stuff right at the bat. Once you have that, you still need a kind of a strategy to finishing through like hard mode stuff, just a good rule of thumb, because some bosses, if you've kind of noticed it, if not all bosses, I think actually all bosses, not think about it, they have stages. So be wary of just unleashing your limit break immediately and thinking like, oh, it's just gonna kill him. No, because once you push it into a nuke stage, the boss will literally stop taking damage until you stop the animation and it does the little cutscene to progress to the next stage. So hence why on this build currently I have refocused materia on the character that's using the Guttamarang accessory, because with the First Strike ATB, right there, First Strike ATB boost materia, we can, as soon as the battle starts, do your limit break to refocus. Boom, you have 3 ATB. You already have the first strike, so you'll have literally 3 full ATBs, and then use time to cast haste on yourself, and then haste on your 2 party members, and then start going to work. They just cast regen, stuff like that, and then you start doing your shenanigans using triple slash, counter stance, which is super money against pretty much everything, to be honest. Um, and again, since with this accessory it builds over time, before you know it, you'll probably have 2 or 3 limit breaks in a boss battle with Cloud alone. And whether it's just to push it to the next stage, so if you get to stage 2 of a fight and you have your next limit break, just do it right off the bat, even if it's not staggered, just to reduce the time spent and reduce your MP usage. And it makes quick work of stuff. It really helps a lot. But anyway, so following this will be a clip of that battle, and then some clips of me farting around using that Goldmering accessory on some smaller side missions and stuff like that, just having some fun. Those won't be commentated on, so you can just enjoy the clips, yeah, stuff like that. So let me know if you have any questions or recommendations yourself. This is just the way that I knocked out those missions, and it was pretty safe and easy, honestly, to do. It was just more of a patient game and just not being too greedy. Heal up if you get below 60%, and pretty good to go. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and let's mosey.
I'm coming. Tagging out. My turn. So it's my turn? You've got this. One more. Here it comes. You got this. Need to heal up. Gotta love it. Try this. A bonus. That's it. Stay back. Go on. Need a breather. I'll show you what I can do. Why don't you lead the way? All the time. Let's switch it up. I'll take care of them. Can you take over for me? Backing off a bit. Get him!
It's over. Take him down.
Right, my turn. That's it. Tagging out.
Let's do this.
Just go away.
overdo it.
Here goes.
Need my help, do you? Firing one off! Gotta love it! Special delivery! Bring it home!
I got this.
I'll show you what I can do. This one's for you. Huh. 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 Thank you. Huh. That's it. Sorry. Huh. See you around.
You're up.
You're coming with us. Nice and easy.
Don't think so. Not bad.
Who in the hell? Hands where I can see them.
Have fun.
Enough of this. Time to get serious. Let's go.
Drop the weapon.
You got this.
Yeah, what he said.
Try harder. Nope. That it?
Get him, boy!
Going all out. Nothing to it.
They ran off this way. Be careful.
Where do you think they went?
Who knows? They're kids. Nothing to do but look all over.
I just hope we find them in time.
Get back.
I can fight too, you know.
Not bad.
Well, this isn't creative.
For it. Was never in doubt.
Ah, there they are.
And they're not alone. I'll protect you.
I'm pretty good at protecting myself, you know.
Seriously. Enough.
them.
All right.
Aerith!
I'll end this.
Hold on!
That'll do. So long.